Going to welcome back one of our guests, Mrs. Tracy Hamler, one of the authors from the book When Fear is Not a Factor. And now that I have the book in hand, I can actually ask some questions. And I have a couple of good questions for her that I didn't have before. But I'm glad that I'm able to, catch up on my reading, which is one, and two, get to know a little bit about the person because you don't know too much about the person until you read this book. And I mean, it's an amazing story, not just her story, but a lot of the other authors in here. I got a chance to skim through a few. It's amazing. I recommend everybody that's on my show, please go cop that. You will not be disappointed at all. Um, for those that are on, that will be on listening, please ask as many questions if you have some. Um, if you don't know how to get to me, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Chopping It Up with A60. If you are watching the interview, please like and share. Please like and share this interview. Um, we're looking for a lot of people to get involved in what I'm doing with Chopping It Up with A60. I'm always looking to do interviews, not just about sports. If you have a book, if you have any type of cooking show that you want to do, any type of entrepreneur stuff, I am very much interested in getting to know you as a person and getting you out there. I don't ask for anything. I don't want anything. Um, if you have a shirt you want me to promote, any type of power you want me to promote for you, I'm more than willing to help any way I possibly can. We got to take care of each other before we can take care of others. So I believe in taking care of my people, my family, and my friends. That's one thing I definitely would love to do. But without further ado, we're not going to keep her waiting in the waiting room for too long. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Miss Tracy Hamler.
Hey, hey,
Trace,
hey.
welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
I'm blessed. You see, I took time out of my trip to get this interview done.
Look at you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you.
It was overdue. I think the first one, we had the technical difficulties with Facebook, but that's Facebook. Don't worry about that. We here right now, and we're about to have a great interview. For a lot of people who don't know you, please introduce yourself and let them know where you're from.
Hi, guys. My name is Tracy Hamler. I am the founder and creator of Fearless Women Retreat, which is an organization designed to empower and inspire women to be the best versions of themselves. I am also an author, a coach, a speaker, a mother, among so many other things, a friend.
Right.
So I am just here to impact, empower, and lift all my fellow female entrepreneurs up, help them level up, get to their next levels. That's what inspires me and empowers me to keep pushing.
Definitely. Now, I know you reside in Atlanta,
Yep, that's correct.
but you are a Cajun, a Louisiana girl.
That is correct.
What part of Louisiana?
Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Now, you like crawfish?
I do, but I don't really eat them like that because I don't like peeling them.
I don't like the way they look. I'm scared of eating bugs every
It's
time
like
I
little
look at.
small lobsters. It's okay.
I see people eating it, and I'm like, oh, I want to try it because you can see all the flavor and everything. But I'm like, I can't do it. So I'm looking at little bugs. I don't know if I want to mess with that too much.
Yeah, so like when my family have crawfish boils now, if I'm not picking off of something that somebody actually peeled for me, then I'm usually just eating corn and potatoes just because I don't like peeling them.
Right. I totally understand that. I totally understand that. So, are you a sin? Oh, you're a
Of
Falcons
course.
fan.
Of
Okay, I'm just checking. I'm just checking.
Listen, first of all, I don't watch sports like that at all, but I'm always rocking with the home team.
Okay, I'm just checking because people move from different cities, and they take on the city they live at now. And I'm
Yeah,
a
I
New
know a
York
few people
Giants
that have
fan. I
done
live
that.
in Dallas, but I can't do that. Sorry, I can't do that.
Mm-mm.
It's not part of the
Mm-mm.
pedigree. I can't do it.
There you go. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Uh, you married?
I am.
Okay. How long?
Shoot. Since 2012, how many years that is?
Long time.
A long time. A long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kids?
Yes, I have a 16-year-old and a 2-year-old.
That is a blessing. I have three myself. 19 daughter, 11-year-old, I'm sorry, 12-year-old son, and 11-year-old son.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter, she was not planned. She was definitely a surprise. And let me tell you,
Hmm.
since we got here, it's just been surprise, surprise, surprise because she is running the house, taking over everything. Every space is hers, including
Hmm.
my bed.
Oh my God. Boss lady. She running the show already.
Yes, she is definitely the boss baby. Super smart, so
Hmm.
sweet, love her. God knew exactly what I needed.
No doubt. Um, so I want to ask, so I've been reading the book.
Mhm.
Church girl, I see.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up in the church. My grandmother did not believe in us missing a Sunday. She was the
Mhm.
type where you almost had to sit in the front pew.
Oh man, yeah.
And you had to pay attention because if you
Mhm.
didn't, you're gonna get popped in the church. It don't even matter, like right there. So
Mhm.
uh so yeah, definitely went to church every Sunday. My grandmother's the matriarch of our family,
Mhm.
so everybody listens to her. That's just the way it is. You have to respect grandma. She loves all of us to death. I probably get a little favoritism because I'm the first granddaughter.
Oh, you getting a lot. Don't even try to cut that
Right,
out. You're getting a lot.
right. So, it's this weird space of being the first grandchild slash technically her last baby
Mhm.
because my mom had me when she was 18, going on 19. So my
Mhm.
grandmother pretty much raised me. So I was technically my grandmother's baby for
Mhm.
a while.
Mhm.
So yeah. So it's that fine line between grandma, mama.
Oh, I know. My grandmother had me since I've been 6 months. So
uh,
I know exactly what you're
yeah.
talking about. Being in the church, sitting in the front pew. I think she realized when I got about 13, she was like, listen, if you don't want to go, you don't have to go.
Yeah.
Just go to church.
Nah.
Because I was playing sports at that time too, and I
Mhm.
was real heavy. So I was like, man, we play on Sundays,
Mhm.
but she was like, no, you can only play on Saturdays,
Yeah.
but you got to play on Sunday. I said, no, we play on Sundays. So she said, you gonna choose sports over church? Right now, yeah. So, but she eventually came on and she understood that she didn't want to stop what I was doing. So I'm glad we had to come to an agreement
Right.
that it worked out in my favor, not in
Yeah.
her favor. But I always made sure I said, you know what, I'll go with you on Mother's Day. I'll go with you on Easter. Like I made
Mhm.
sure I'll go with you on those important days. You want me to go, I will make sure I'm there with you no matter what it is.
I'm actually happy I had that foundation. It set me up for who I am today, I
Mhm.
think, as far as my faith is concerned, as far as my belief in life, just connections with people, all of that. You have
Mhm.
to have a higher um divine kind of connection,
Mhm. Mhm.
um and without faith you really won't have that.
Mhm.
I feel like to really be able, not necessarily faith, but just being a spiritual being. I
Mhm.
think that foundation helped me and mold me to who I am today.
Right. Now, I do understand, that whole part with, molding you. I think my grandmother molded me for a lot of things. One, learning how to take care of myself, cook.
Mhm.
She was like, "Listen, you ain't always gonna have a woman, so you better learn how to take care of yourself." So she started me on that at an early age. But my
Oh,
grandmother's
yeah, my
always been
grandmother
the
did cook.
foundation.
The cooking
Mhm.
still going on, like,
Uh,
that's a serious thing.
yeah, you better know
That's
how
a
to make
serious
some
thing.
cornbread. You better make sure you eat. Everybody eats. So that is real big. Also, I'm reading military person.
Yes, yes.
Wow, Army, huh?
Yes, I joined the military when I was 17 years old. I was still actually a junior in high school.
Hmm.
So the summer after I completed my junior year, I went to basic training.
Hmm.
And I could really say that was the first time I really just kind of bet on myself because, as you
Hmm.
know, I grew up pretty much as the only child. My mom only had one child at the time. She ended up having my little sister when I was 16 years old.
Hmm.
But like I said, my grandmother raised me. So growing up kind of as the only child,
Hmm.
then, being spoiled and kind of sheltered
Hmm.
from being the
Hmm.
youngest.
Hmm.
Um, of my uncles and aunts, which were technically my siblings because of our age difference.
Hmm.
Uh, that was a real wake up call for me.
Right.
That was my first time being away from home, not having no guidance, not knowing really what to expect. It was challenging to say the least. Wet behind the ears, inexperienced
Hmm.
so many different ways. And I really just wasn't prepared for basic training whatsoever. How I got through it, only God knows.
Well, only God gonna know that one.
How I got through it, only God knows, I promise. But um again, my foundation is what kept me pushing, is what kept me grounded. I prayed a lot in basic training and in AIT. After I got back from basic training, I completed my um high school year, my 12th grade
Hmm.
year, and then I went to AIT, which is your schooling for the
Hmm.
military to complete all training. And that's when I really um, started learning about faith and finding out who I was as a person.
Hmm.
I remember in AIT, I was watching this bishop on TV. I had no idea who he was. I only caught like the end of his sermon, but I told myself then I wanted to go and visit this man's church because it was just something about him that I needed to feel and experience. Also, during that time, or right before basic training, let me back it up a little bit.
Hmm.
Before basic training, I was going to church a lot and really trying to figure out who I was at that time as well.
Hmm.
And we went to this youth retreat. And at this youth retreat, we prayed a lot. We prayed so much.
I read that in the book. I wasn't gonna say anything. I was gonna wait for you to read
Yeah, we
that.
prayed so much. I actually got tired of praying. Have you ever just been tired of something? I'm like, God, I'm 17 years old. They got me praying like this. I ain't got
Hmm.
nothing else to pray for. God, I'm tired.
Hmm.
Nothing. Like, so as soon as I said I was tired, God, I'm tired, I ain't got nothing else to pray for, it was like something pushed in my stomach and came out my mouth. And that's when I received the gift of speaking in tongues.
Hmm.
That was the first time that I really experienced fear after that because
Wow.
I was like, I hope God doesn't expect me to be perfect or
Mhm.
live this righteous life. I'm only 17 years old. You got the
Right.
wrong person. the devil, I felt like, just started attacking me because I did not know what it was. It was something that I had never experienced before. So, um, for that, in that moment, looking back is I'm trying to give the analogy that I use in the book. I think I
Mm,
said it was like God carrying me, those footsteps in the sand
mhm,
being God.
mhm,
It sounds very, very, cliche, but I really believe when you are really tired,
mhm,
God will carry you. He would lift you up. He would take away the burdens and everything is going to be all right. And that's what it was for me in that moment. I was extremely tired. I was tired of praying. I ain't had nothing else to pray for. And
mhm.
God
There you
helped
go.
me continue to pray. That was it. I had literally given up on myself. Yeah. And gave it to
Wow.
God. Yeah,
I also read in the book, going back a little bit, that you had a bully in your training,
I did.
and it's funny how God work in mysterious ways with the bully. It handled itself. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. So with the bully, it was actually she probably wouldn't have been a bully had the drill sergeant not taunt me. The drill
Mhm,
sergeant knew that I had reached muscle failure. I was this skinny
mhm,
little 17-year-old.
mhm,
Never worked out a day in my life. And you got me running, you got me doing all these push-ups and sit-ups. And he said, do one more push-up. If you do one more correct push-up, I would stop smoking the entire company. And smoking means, making the entire company continue to do exercises until
mhm.
they reach muscle failure. So he knew I couldn't do it. And yeah, we had to continue we had to continue to
Gotta
exercise.
keep working.
Yeah, and the entire company was mad at me, but she was really mad at me because she was my battle buddy. So she didn't want to be attached to me anymore because all you had to do was do one more push-up and you couldn't do one more push-up so we could stop getting smoked. But honestly, I feel like even if I would have done that one,
Mhm,
it wouldn't have been over. He just wanted to use somebody,
mhm.
as a scapegoat on why this is happening to us. Because in basic training, they break you down and they build you back up. And
Oh, they definitely do.
it's actually three different phases that they give you in basic training, and we were still in the red phase, which was complete lockdown and just being dogged out. So
Mm.
yeah, that was terrible.
Let's talk about the chapter. Right,
Mhm.
you're the first chapter in the book,
Mhm.
and it talks about betting on yourself. Why did
Mhm.
you choose that title?
Um, because I really feel like if you bet on yourself, um, well, I feel like everybody should bet on themselves
Mhm,
because if you don't bet on yourself, then why would you expect others to bet on yourself, right?
mhm, mhm,
But more importantly, if you bet on yourself and take yourself seriously and do the work, you will win.
mhm.
So that's why I chose betting on yourself.
I think in different scenarios, we as people sometimes are scared of the fear of failing. So that's why a lot of people, in my opinion, don't like betting on themselves. Um, as they say, take that leap of faith. And the reason why they don't like that leap of faith is being scared of failure. But you don't know until you take that chance. And if you do, then you keep going until something is eventually going to fall through the pipeline to where you bet it on yourself and you can, that accomplishment of you betting on yourself feels a lot better.
Right.
Um, in my opinion. What are your thoughts about that?
I agree. I feel like let me go actually to
No cheating, no cheating.
okay. I going to go to stuff that I actually wrote in the book about, okay, what's in there say? What are some of things you did to bet on yourself? Um, so the first thing I did to bet on myself to Neil was start. I'm kind of skipping over, huh? I'm sorry.
Answers. You answer the question. Don't even worry about it. I got you.
Was start selling in a direct sales company called Bedroom Candy.
Mm,
Um, that was really the first time I stepped out and I bet on myself. I didn't know anything about direct sales. During that
mm,
time, my husband was going through a transition in the
mhm,
military, and it was affecting our finances. So I was thinking about getting a a second job because at the time we had 2 mortgages and a few car notes and a child in
mhm,
private school, like real adult bills.
mhm,
And I was scared. I didn't want to lose anything. So I was like, okay, I can get a second job or I can bet on myself and figure this out.
right.
And I chose to bet on myself in selling bedroom candy. At the time, the company was only a year old, so it wasn't a lot of training materials. It wasn't even a lot of products out at the time.
Right.
So I studied about all the products. I practiced in the mirror, and
You got to get that
I
sales pitch together.
right, I had to get my sales pitch together, and I hosted my first party at my house. I just invited some friends and family over to kind of get my feet wet to see if I can even do this. Like my only goal at that time was to make the money back that I had invested in it, which was $500. My hand was literally shaking because I knew I could use that $500 to pay a bill versus
Mhm,
investing in myself.
mhm,
And I chose to, of course, bet on myself, make the investment. And little did I know, a few years later, I would be number one top sales nationwide in that company, as
mm,
well as having one of the top 10 teams in the company as well.
mm.
Yeah.
But that's good right there. And that's definitely betting on yourself. It's funny how you had, not funny, but you had to do what you did because of what was going on.
Right.
So and it actually worked out better for you and your family, which is a great thing.
Right. And I
Um,
think fear too, fear of losing stuff. If something is important to you, if something is important to you, you're gonna buckle down and you're gonna do
mhm,
what you gotta do to make it work. But then I realized in doing that that I learned more about me and I found a new passion.
mhm.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Um, I want to go back.
Hmm.
In the book, you was diagnosed with a disease.
Yeah. So
Yeah, see, I've been doing my reading. Yeah, see, I've been doing my reading.
yeah, so in 2005 I actually gave birth to my first son, who's now 16, via C-section. And I bled out during that C-section
Mhm,
to the point where I had to get blood transfusions.
mhm,
And my dad told me he had hemophilia, which is a bleeding disorder. And he
mhm,
told me I had to get my son tested because he can possibly have it. But I
mhm,
didn't know anything about hemophilia until I actually gave birth to my son.
mhm,
And I told the doctors that, this is in my family history. And I asked if it was a possibility that I can have a bleeding disorder. And they told me, no, women can't have bleeding disorders.
mhm,
You are only a carrier, and sometimes you can be a symptomatic carrier.
mhm,
So I went on with that for a few years. Up until 2013, I was getting ready to have another surgery because I kept having just female problems and issues.
right.
So um, the doctor had me get tested for hemophilia prior to that surgery.
Mhm,
So I got tested and found out I too have the same bleeding disorder that my son and my father has. So all the years prior where I had to do PT tests, that's our physical training tests,
Mhm.
to, qualify to get promoted and just
Mhm.
various things. You have to be fit to be in the military.
Yeah.
So it's been several occasions where I would have hurt myself, been bruised, or just bleeding extremely heavy and
Mhm.
embarrassed to say while I'm in the field, or just doing strenuous exercises, just pushing through, because in the military we're taught to suck it up and drive on. And
Mhm.
if me bleeding my entire life, like I have been, has been my norm, I thought that was normal. I didn't
Mhm.
know something was wrong with me. So
Mhm.
although I physically felt stuff and I can sometimes see bruises and things, I didn't know until 2013 that something was really wrong with me. And
Mhm.
then when I found out something was wrong with me, I was afraid to share because I didn't want my military career to be over.
Mhm.
So even still, I suffered through it for a few more years
Mhm.
until I finally retired. But yeah, that was difficult. That was a really hard pill for me to swallow. It was
Mhm.
very hurtful because, you know, as a female, especially a black female, you already got a stigma
Mhm.
attached to you.
Mhm.
So I always felt like I had to like push harder and work harder no matter what.
Mhm.
Only to learn that, me being judged or talked about or, defamed in any kind of way,
Mhm.
um, really meant really wasn't justified. You know what I'm saying? Like something
Right,
was really
right,
wrong
right.
with me and I couldn't explain it. So I was hurt, to say the least. I was super hurt because it was like, man, I've been trying, I've been pushing, I've been doing this, I've been doing that. I busted stitches doing my PT test. Like after my C-section, I'm bleeding, I'm oozing. Like
Mhm.
I literally could have killed myself for an
Wow.
organization. And, mentally, it affected me, not just
Mhm.
physically, but mentally. It was
Mhm.
hard.
You know, I'm sure you had a good support system to help you get through it, because that sounds like a very tough situation for anybody to handle,
Yeah,
because you don't know what's next.
right.
You don't know what's next. So that's good that you had a support system, and it's good that you made it through. As we can tell, you telling your story. So obviously you did it. So that's great. I'm glad that things worked out for you. Glad.
Yeah, thank you.
So I want to jump back into the book. Now, I do know you did your first business venture,
Mhm.
and by you doing the first business venture, did that propel you to say, "Let me try it again," or you was done after that particular moment?
Um, you talking about the the Bayram Candy, the direct sales one, or the next one? So
You got.
so
I know you got a lot. That's what I'm saying.
right. So Bayram Candy was the first
Mhm,
time I bet on myself, and I did really well with that. But in
mhm,
that experience, in those ordering rooms with the ladies,
mhm,
they told me intimate details about themselves, about their relationships, and for some reason, they can trust me with that. They knew I had a good heart. They knew I had integrity. They knew that their information wouldn't leave the room. You
mhm,
know, and in listening to all those stories, I realized that we as women have more in common than not. A lot
mhm.
of our stories are the same, you
Right,
know?
right,
And then I
right, right.
realized, man, if only we can share our stories with one another, we
Mhm,
would have more compassion for one another. We would be able to understand each other better,
mhm,
and support. Like for me, it was all about the love. So I decided that that I wanted to create more leaders like me, right?
Right.
So I created a Bedroom Candy Boss Retreat, and that was
Mm.
super successful. Like, I didn't know anything about retreats. I had never been to one. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how to plan it. I didn't know anything. I just knew what I wanted to experience
Hmm.
and how I wanted my ladies to benefit from this retreat.
Hmm.
And I had 14 ladies at this first retreat. Um, and after that retreat, I realized that it wasn't necessarily about me creating more leaders like me for Bedroom Candy. Like,
Hmm.
it needed to be all ladies from
Hmm.
all walks of life um, to be included,
Right.
to level up and become the best versions of themselves, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially,
Right. Right.
in every aspect.
Hmm.
So I created Fearless Women Retreat.
Hmm.
Um, and I hosted my first Fearless Women Retreat, I want to say probably about 4 months after I did
Hmm.
the BK Boss Retreat.
Hmm.
That one was super successful. I think I hosted probably about 20-ish ladies the second time around.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe like
It's
25 ladies.
growing. It's
Yeah,
growing. Wow.
yeah. And
Now,
I
are
was
they
like,
all the
"Hey,"
same thing,
huh?
or were they different, like different retreats? Because I know you had different retreats. We had one with 14, and you had one with 20.
Yeah.
Did y'all do all the same things at those retreats, or were they different? You had
Some of the
different things
stuff
going
was
on.
the same. Some of the stuff
Okay.
was different. The BK Boss Retreat was geared more towards business.
Okay.
But we still talked about some personal stuff. The
Okay.
Fearless Women Retreat was more intimate, was more personal. We talked about some business stuff, but it was mostly, you know, just getting all that stuff out. From that point on, I realized that I wanted to theme each of my retreats.
Hmm.
So each year I had a focus um, for my retreats that I really tried to stick to.
Hmm.
But the thing about women is, we need this sisterhood, but we like a lot of the same things. So a lot of
Hmm.
my retreats are tailored to make you feel good, to empower you, to inspire
Hmm.
you, all that stuff. So
Wow, that's
you're
good.
gonna feel the love. You're gonna feel, you know, a sense of sisterhood. You're gonna feel empowered. You're gonna get the business tools that you need to level up if you so choose. And
Hmm.
yeah, I just keep growing, keep
That's
moving.
that's
Yeah.
what's up. And I want to go back to, you said, there are a lot of women that are different. They have different personalities, but you're all the same and somewhat in the story. My
Mhm.
next question, you have 11 different authors in this book.
Yep.
How did you go about in picking these 11 young women?
Well, the thing about my retreats are a lot of them grow from word of mouth, right?
Hmm.
Not all of these ladies know me. So the majority of these ladies on this book, they met me through a relationship from somebody else that I met or from attending my retreat, right?
Okay.
So I don't know if you can see my book,
I
but
see it.
this lady right here, Tracy Bryant Swint,
Hmm.
she she came to one of my retreats. I met her through somebody, but Tyra right here, Tyra actually introduced me to Tony, Kim, Michelle. Yeah, so Tyra brought in a few people. And Tania, like I met Tania through someone else, but yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Can
Tyra
all come from
Tyra
people's
actually did
relationships.
a lot with helping me bring this together as well.
Yeah, we got Tyra next Thursday. She's
Mhm.
ready. She's ready.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good that you was able to. Y'all all met either whether it's your retreat or through another person, say, hey, I think this would
Right,
be a great idea. Let's get you together. I think that's amazing that from that retreat and personal relationships, y'all all became one to create such a great product, which is
right.
in this book. If I'm a person that that's looking for some information, why should I pick up this book?
Let me tell you, in this book, you're gonna find authors from all walks of life, that have just experienced so many different things and overcame them. Um, I don't want to give away too many details, but I want to
Hmm.
give away one major one
Hmm.
because I have one author, I'm not gonna say who it is, but she actually accidentally murdered um her daughter's father, and it took her 19 years to forgive herself.
Wow.
It's stories like this in this book that will inspire you to keep pushing, to keep betting on yourself despite your circumstance, your situation, um, just to keep fighting.
Hmm.
And even my story, I talk a lot about life and
Hmm.
how your life is not your own and how we are our own worst critics,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Um, I was actually in a meeting today and someone asked us what can we brag what can we say about ourselves? How can we brag about ourselves? And
Hmm.
it took people a long time to answer their accolades. What have I done? What have I accomplished? How can I brag on myself? And then she asked, what are
Wow.
your failures? What are your failures? The list went on. I failed to do this. I failed to do that. I failed to do that. So you can easily say how much you have failed, but you never think about how much you have won, right?
Hmm.
And this book will remind you to just keep getting up, keep winning. It's also something else in my book that I wanted to mention
Go ahead.
before we go.
We ain't going nowhere.
Okay. I wanted to mention this though.
Hmm.
I said at where we go. I said it took Tyler Perry 6 years of losing his hard-earned money to host his plays and being homeless, sleeping in his car before making it. At age 55, Adriana Huffington founded the Huffington Post and eventually sold the publication to AOL for over 300 million. At age 78, Anna Moses, known as Grandma Moses, began her prolific painting career and sold one of her paintings in 2006 for over $1 million.
Mm.
So I said all that to say it doesn't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what you're going through. But if you continue to bet on yourself, if you continue to do the work, you're going to win. You're going to
Mhm.
win. So,
That's good that you're gonna win. You got to have that mindset. And I'm sure you probably had a few failures. Do you remember a couple of those failures that you had? That then you got that one thing that stuck. What was the one failure you was like, man, I wish this would work. I wish this would have worked.
honestly, I failed at my retreat, I feel like, you know?
Really?
Yeah. I failed because when I first started, I didn't know the direction that I was going. I just knew it was something I wanted to do, whether I got paid or not.
Hmm.
But I realized as I'm growing, I have to operate in business a lot differently. It's things that I need to put in place. I have to have a team and it's stuff that I didn't even think about in operating my business to scale it. So in that aspect, I kind of failed on the business
Right.
back end of doing things, right?
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's been other things. It's been other ventures, direct sales, like, all that kind of stuff that I thought I wanted to get into. And I was like, oh no, this this ain't for me. And then, sometimes as parents, as friends, we let people down. We
Mhm.
don't always handle the situations right. And, we fail to be just the best versions of ourselves. And, I am guilty of failure in taking care of myself and choosing me first. I'm always worried about other people's feelings and
Mhm.
all that stuff. So it's easy to forget about self a lot of times.
Well, especially when you're trying to build something,
Yeah.
you always forget about self because you're putting yourself out there. So
Mhm.
you're trying to build, so you're like, "Oh, yeah, maybe I should, but let me finish this first. Let me focus on this, and then I'll get back to me later." You
Right.
know, as similar to me creating this podcast, it was the same way where I was nervous, I was scared, I didn't know if people want to listen, and then I started saying to myself, you know what? If I got 3 people listening, 4 people listening, I'm fine with that. It's going to help somebody. What I'm
Right.
doing. So, and I want to be able to help at all times. So, um, it took me a while to leap, take that faith, and then eventually I just said, let's just do it.
It's scary. It's very scary. I always compare myself to Gideon in
Hmm.
the Bible. I don't know if you know who that is, but Gideon um was the scariest of the scariest, right?
Hmm.
And he was tasked by God to fight or lead a fight to um beat some Midianites, right?
Hmm.
And Gideon was like, God, you got the wrong person. I'm scared. I can't do this. Well, if you really want me to do it, show me a sign.
Right,
How many
right.
times you ask God to show you a sign? And that's
Hmm.
me. Like, I'm always questioning God, like, God, you have showed me these signs, and
Hmm.
I'm still like, you got the wrong person because I'm scared. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to talk in front of people. I just want to, fall back in the cut, be my nice self, help
Hmm.
out as I can.
Let me lay
And
here and just relax.
yeah, but God said no. Like, you are supposed to be talking to people. You're supposed to be leading people, and you just got to do what you got to do. You just got to do what you got to do, and most importantly, when God says move, you have to move.
Hmm.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna never give you too much you can't handle. He's gonna give you just about enough, you
Right.
know. And
Right.
he's not gonna put too much on you. He's gonna say, "Here, I want you to try to do this a little bit,
Mhm.
before I put some more on you." But he never
Right.
give you too much you can't handle,
Right. And I
So
think a lot of times too, aside from being scared, we all go through our own feelings and emotions. I don't know about you, but
mhm,
maybe you couldn't get anybody to come and interview with you, or whatever the case may be. And you feel like, man, this sucks. I don't want to do this no more. I'm just gonna give up because I'm not
no,
I'm
you're
not
right.
doing things, it's just not going right.
Hmm.
And that's not when you give up. That's when you keep pushing. You keep pushing. But it's easy to give up because we get in our own head. We want to give up because things get hard and
Hmm.
it's out of our control. However, you don't give up, that's when you give it to God and allow him to direct your path. So
Hmm.
yeah.
So, how has business been doing for you at
So
this moment?
business has been real well. I'm not gonna say really, really great, but it's it's going well.
That's
So
good.
in 2020, I was supposed to host my third annual retreat, and COVID
Hmm.
happened.
Hmm.
And when that happened, it was just like a downward spiral of so many other things.
Hmm.
Um, I ended up having to refund money,
Mm.
lost speakers. It was a lot of crazy. And I
Mhm.
didn't know how I would recover from all that loss.
Mhm.
And I was telling a little bit of my story on Clubhouse, and some of these people partnered with me to help me host
Mhm.
um, my retreat for 2021 since we had to postpone 2020.
Mhm.
So I ended up getting a few new people for 2021, and I was still kind of questioning whether or not I was going to host 22 retreat, because I was like, man, that was tough. It was not knowing which way COVID is going to go. Are people wanting to travel? Are people wanting to do things? How
Mhm.
they feel about taking a COVID test? Like all these factors,
Mhm.
kind of kept me in limbo on whether or not I wanted to continue with this venture.
Right.
Um, However, I will say I have people paid in full.
There you go. That's
And
it right there.
and the retreat is happening next month, March 31st through
Mhm.
April 4th in Destin, Florida. I'm so excited about it. I have some dynamic speakers. We're getting ready to roll out some more content for the
Mhm.
retreat. So I'm definitely looking for more ladies to join us. We're doing like energy healing sessions on the beach, like bonfires with s'more stations. We got a pajama party. We got excursions.
How many days is that?
It's actually 4 nights, 5 days, a Thursday
Woo!
through Monday. So yeah,
You gotta
yeah, I
put
got some
that
powerhouse
information in.
speakers.
You gotta put that information in the chat. People might want to get in there.
I will. I will. Somebody post my link. I don't know how to post it, but
Tanil,
somebody, Tania,
Tanil,
type Tracy Tracie 10, the number, 10, and then K.com, Tracy10K.com.
wow.
And
Whoa,
that will
whoa,
send
whoa.
everybody to all my links. Thank you,
She
Sunil.
said, I got you.
Yeah. So yeah, I got the retreat coming up, of course. Still selling the book. The book sales are
Mhm.
going really good. What else? Uh
I was going to ask you about that. I know you did the book signing about a couple of weeks
mhm.
ago, if I'm not mistaken. How
Yeah.
did that go?
The book signing went well. I was so excited about the book signing because it was a book signing slash vision journal event. So they actually got little journals and
Mhm.
little stickers and stuff to start writing their vision. I hope,
Mhm.
it inspired them to actually tell their stories, because I believe everybody got at least one story in them.
Mhm.
And speaking of stories, we're actually doing another book compilation coming up soon. I hope
Mhm.
to have that information rolling out within the next couple of weeks. So I'm excited about that, because
Mhm.
I have been approached by quite a few people that want to tell their stories.
Wow.
And we all need to hear each other's stories, right?
Mhm.
Because these
Mhm.
stories are so relatable, they're so inspiring, and we need to be reminded. It's just like, the stories in the Bible, like those stories are very inspirational. We need to be reminded of those times, the things that people went through, so we don't give up on ourselves.
It's a great outlet as well,
Right.
to have different women coming together from different backgrounds,
Mhm.
but in some way, somebody can help this woman in that situation. And even as just listening, don't always have to be giving out information. Sometimes you just need to listen and talk.
Right. And the,
Um,
and the one thing that I want to say about Fearless Women is it's a for real tribe. It's a for real sisterhood. I actually confided in the ladies in my private Facebook group when I was going through some challenges in 2020
mhm,
with my husband. So yes, I'm married, but my husband and I are actually separated, and we
mm,
separated in the middle of the pandemic. Um,
wow.
in March of 2020. I actually left and I stayed in a hotel for 3 days. I had to find an apartment online.
Oh
At that
man.
time, they wasn't allowing you to do viewings and all that stuff. My daughter was 5 months old. My son was 15, and all I had was a bag of clothes for her, a bag of clothes for me and my son, had all of his
Mhm.
stuff. And we moved into an apartment with 2 air mattresses and those few clothes.
Mhm.
And I literally did not know how I was gonna make it. But after reading one of the lady's stories in my book, the one that I mentioned
Mhm.
about, it taking her 19 years to forgive herself, I realized if she can go through that kind of stuff and live with that kind of pain, then why am I afraid to share my story to help somebody to not give up,
Right.
to give somebody inspiration to not bet on themselves. And I told the ladies my story, and these ladies literally poured into me. The fearless that's
Mm.
always giving and helping
Mm.
and
Mhm.
encouraging. I
Mhm.
felt shame and guilt to be in this spot because I'm not in this situation. This not me.
Right, 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 right.
so um so they literally pulled funds together to make sure I had the basic necessities, furniture, clothes, like,
Wow.
and that's the importance of a sisterhood. That's the importance of telling your story. That's the importance of these connections and being authentic and being real. And that's what I really want people to get from this book, win because you can, you know,
Mm.
because there fear wouldn't be a factor if you had the knowledge, if you
Mhm.
had the work ethic, if you had the know-how. So
That title is so catchy.
I loved it.
That title is so catchy. When fear is not and you like, but it's like I was telling Tania when she did her interview. The win. It's not like WHEN. It's win, meaning there's a purpose. Like there is something at the end. So
Right.
reading when I read that part, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And I think she said it came through a collective of picking this
Yeah,
title.
so I said I wanted the name of the book to be When Fear is Not a Factor,
Mhm.
WHEN. And Tyra actually called me back and she was like, I like to read books a lot and and I really picked them by the cover. And it's something just about when that's just not catchy enough. Let's do a play on the word when. I was like, that's kind of dope, Tyra. So I was like, yeah. So we pitched it to the ladies. Everybody loved it. And that's how it was established.
you know, there's a lot of women. They always say you can't get all these women working together at one time, but for some reason, y'all figured out how to make something work with this book.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not always easy working with women. It's a lot of different
Mhm.
personalities. It's a lot of different egos, trying
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
communicate the right way. Everybody, just from different areas. But
Mhm.
that goes back to that compassion, that understanding, being genuine, and really just listening to a person.
Mhm.
Listen to their needs, listen to their wants, and trying your best to make it work. So I'm so appreciative to my co-authors for being authentic, for for telling their stories, being a part of this project. I literally couldn't have done it without them.
Mhm.
They helped me continue to push my vision along to, inspire others to do stuff like this with me.
Mhm.
So I'm happy. I'm so happy. I'm so thankful. So grateful.
That's good. Now, has there been a moment where you like, I don't want to do this no more?
My book or period.
Just in period in general, because we all have a breaking point. We all
Yeah.
have a point that where we can say, you know what, this is not turning out the way I want it to turn out. You start not seeing the end of that
Yeah.
rainbow, but you like, I just can't get over the hump. So
Yeah.
that's why I was asking, was there ever a moment you was like, I
Yeah.
just don't want to do this. I'm ready to just switch gears.
Yeah. I feel like that. Not a lot, but recently, when
Yeah.
things don't go the way you plan, like I always put a lot of pressure on myself, especially for my events,
Mhm.
and just things that I do. In my mind, I have it picture perfect on how I want everything to work out, and things
Mhm.
just don't always go as planned. And sometimes that's very discouraging when you feel like you put your heart and your all into something.
Hmm.
Um, However, my faith won't allow me to give up on myself.
There you
My
go.
faith know that this is a part of my journey. This is a part of my lessons. And this is gonna be a part of my blessings as well. But
Hmm.
yeah, I want to give up. And when I want to give up, I go to my Bible, and that's when I encourage myself. And I
Right.
read the stories of our Old Testament heroes that
Hmm.
had challenges way beyond what I'm dealing with,
Hmm.
and how they were able to endure with faith. You know,
Hmm.
so
That's good. That's
yeah,
good because we all have it. It's not
yeah,
saying I'm not going to sit here and say we don't. We all have it. You
right.
know. Um, I know you got the retreat.
Hmm.
What else? What other businesses you got going on as well?
So I'm also a travel agent. Many people don't know that I am a travel agent. So if you want to book some type of international trip, definitely go
Hmm.
to me. But aside from my retreat, I am working on global trips, international trips for my ladies. Some stuff I'm actually gonna invite men to now. So it's gonna be Fearless Women introduce Fearless Men. Yep. I am doing quarterly refreshers. I want to try to start doing monthly, but it really just depends on
Mhm,
how everything goes. So I'm gonna
mhm,
say quarterly right now. Quarterly refreshers and networking event for people to just connect, be social. Networking
mhm,
is super important, especially when you're trying to grow a business.
mhm,
So that. What else? Coaching, speaking. I want to do more speaking engagements.
mhm.
Uh, Come out with some ebooks. I've had people contact me about learning how to plan events and retreats. So I have
Mhm.
an ebook coming for y'all.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it.
Any more book signings?
I want to do a book signing with all of the ladies. So as soon as we can figure out a date to get all the authors together, I would love to do that.
Ooh, that'll be amazing.
Yeah.
That'll be a great idea to have all the
Hmm.
women there. Y'all in
Yeah.
a row just signing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great. Is there anything else you want to talk about that you feel like we didn't touch on that you want to touch on? Do you have a story that you would like to tell?
You did a great interview. It's nothing else. Is there any more questions you got from me after read my story?
You know what? That story in there, I'm telling you, man. I mean, the one about the bully, that got me right then and there. You being in the
Oh, I didn't
military.
tell what happened to her. They don't
Oh,
know.
I was gonna. We didn't want to give out too much
Yeah,
information,
they
but
don't know. Yeah.
but if you want to share, please.
Nah, that's okay.
Oh
Y'all
yeah,
gotta
she
get the
said.
book now. Y'all gotta get the book.
She said, "Nah, we not telling nothing. We not
Yeah,
giving out anything." No,
yeah.
but the book is amazing. Your story is amazing. I'm glad I got a chance to actually, like I said, God work in mysterious ways. So now I had the opportunity to read the book. At least your chapter before the interview, and just ask you some simple basic questions that people don't know about you, and I
Mhm.
think that's more important. People want to know who the person that's in this book, why the person is writing this book or writing their chapters. And I think when a
Mhm.
person get to know them, it makes them feel a little bit more like, okay, I
Right.
understand. You
Right.
know, so
Right.
I think that's the good thing about it when I was just asking you those questions.
Mhm.
So, but anything you want to share with anybody, more business ventures, how they can get in contact with you, you know.
Yeah, the biggest thing too, aside from, betting on yourself and not giving up, is don't judge a book by its cover. Um,
Mm,
you see people, you make certain, speculations about a person, really get to know who they are. Tanil asked the question, what type of feedback have you received from the book? Oh my God. Great feedback from the book, guys. Great feedback. People actually got questions. They want more. They want a volume two. So
Mm,
instead of doing a volume two, everybody is probably gonna write their own books and tell their stories in full. Like literally, you just got the icing. You didn't even get nothing else. This was just the tip of the iceberg. So definitely dial into all of my authors because all of them are amazing in their own right. And to get in contact with me, type my name, Tracy, TRACYE 10k.com, 10k.com. And it will give you all the information to contact me.
that's great. Friends and family, please share and like this interview. I would appreciate that. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Chopping It Up with A60, for more interviews. If you have more questions, please ask. We'll do our best to get them. If anybody in the room, the chat room, got questions, please ask. We'll do our best to make sure she can answer all of them. I recommend everybody please go and purchase the book. And how can they get the book if you don't mind me telling them?
Tracy10k.com.
Okay, that's the best way to get that book. And I recommend everybody go get this book if you see it. Please, everybody, go get the book. It's a lot of amazing stories, 11 amazing women. And you can see all the. This is my autograph copy for my sis. Tanil, good looking.
Yeah, what's up?
Good looking, good looking.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, girl.
Good looking on that autograph copy. You know, you got to get that autograph. If it ain't right, it ain't right.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. I'm glad we got through this one. I really appreciate you giving
Thank
me your
you.
time
I
again.
appreciate you and your time. You were on vacation, so I appreciate you.
No problem. It's always for a good cause, good reason, great time, and I'm sure we're going to do some more things down the line together. So I'm looking forward
Yep.
to that as well.
Yep. All
Uh,
right. Well, I will talk to you soon. Thank you.
all right. Well, thank you, everybody. Miss Tracy Hamler of the great book When Fear Is Not a Factor. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
Have a good one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was a great interview. I hope everybody, you learn something when you bet on yourself. It's always great when you bet on yourself. You got to believe in yourself if you want to be successful. You can't wait for everybody else to believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself and you got to bet on yourself. Interesting story. I recommend everybody pick up the book, and I'm not just saying that. When Fear is Not a Factor, 11 great authors that's in this book. You will find a story in here that relates to you. So, in saying that, to all my friends and family, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Chopping It Up with A60. For those of you that are on here, please share and like. Please share and like this interview. Next week, we will have another great interview with Miss Tara. She's also one of the authors on the book. Miss Tara James. She's also one of the authors that's in the book. She's up here. Okay, I'm sorry, right here. So we'll be getting her on here next Thursday, 7 p.m. And I look forward to that. Get ready to read her chapter so we can have some fun next week. For all my friends and family, continue to be safe, continue to be blessed, put God first. Have a blessed day. Peace and love. A60 is out.